everybody, this is Fighter Chaos of the Geek Fighters, here with Double RPG,
Yo, what's happening, everybody?
and Visible Master with Blue Eyes Ninja.
Good enough.
No, what is it?
You could tell that. Well, you can definitely tell he's Master of Blue Eyes. But if you looked at his one of his most recent tweets, he has 3 of those cards on him.
Wow, yeah, that's not really that impressive, but yeah.
Well, I think it is.
Mm.
Just shows that you're slowly becoming Seto Kaiba.
Well, it's unfortunately not one of those $1,000 platinum ones that got botted and scalped to shit this week.
Oh yeah, I forgot
I
about that.
remember you telling him about that.
Yeah.
Also, in case you want to know if I am who I says I am, there you go.
Ah, there you go. Yeah, we were wondering, who the hell was that guy we were just talking to? No. But anyways, that's just always a recurring joke, but oh well.
Yeah, we are here to talk about all of E3, and boy howdy, I'm not going to turn this into a whole big "I told you so" thing, but because I did say it like before, but yeah, it wasn't a lot of stuff, but there was some stuff at the end though, so wasn't a complete wash. It also, I noticed, I had a feeling that COVID was going to make this not very special.
Right.
But what did happen? Do you guys have that thing in front of you?
Yes.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Part 1 and Part 2, yeah.
So, like, I'm trying to think. What do we want to do? Do we want to talk about just each thing that happened, or we just want to talk about our own thoughts?
Right?
That's a good
Do
question.
what?
I guess we can give an overview so people even know what the heck we're talking about.
Yeah, I guess we could give an overview, and then we could just talk talk about like each event, and then basically like what our big highlighter and what our big letdown was.
Basically, yeah. You know what? There you go. Cool.
So I guess we should just go ahead and just give everybody a general consensus on E3 2021, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So, who wants to go first? You, me, or Metal? Or should we just all say how much of a crap show that E3 2021 was?
You know what? I've been saying this to Metal because I was like, Metal, I bet you got a lot. I kind of want Metal to go first.
All right. Crap show is a strong word. I would say.
Hi, Star Child.
Hi, Star Child. I would say, on the whole, it was underwhelming. I wouldn't say crap show, because we did see some pretty nice things shown off. So, I mean, hey, we did see new stuff, so we can at least say that. Unfortunately, a lot of what we did see is either way off in the future or just like upgrades, ports, and just stuff that not a lot of people give a shit about.
Yes.
So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, like I said, there are some bright spots, but yeah. Even though we did definitely get those, though most of the big kind of like surprises were, funnily enough, from Nintendo. So, I mean, yeah, Microsoft Bethesda,
Microsoft did okay. Yeah.
like I'd even havage, like kind of havage to say that Ubisoft wasn't great, but they didn't do terrible either. You know, they were just kind of in the middle because they did show some new stuff, and then you know announce some other like DLCs and other stuff upcoming. So, right.
Take Two, which was just blah blah
Yeah.
blahing, and Capcom wasn't so great. Yeah.
Take Two's was just a panel about diversity in games, like in games,
Yeah.
the industry. Uh, which hey, they can do with they can do with whatever their time they want, really. So, hey, that wasn't terribly interesting to us, though it might be to others. So, all we could say, yeah. Uh, yeah, that's mostly because of the sicky icky. Uh, a lot of companies felt like they it seems like they felt obligated to show something at E3 when even a lot of people online were saying, "Yo, if you don't have much to show, you don't have to be there." If you're not going to show too much, then don't. It's okay. We understand. But I'm
That's pretty
looking
cool.
at Bandai Namco and WB Games. Just saying.
Boy, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was their entire E3 event, quote unquote.
I knew COVID was gonna mess. I mean, obviously, right? But like, I didn't
Well,
know that.
yeah,
Like, I didn't know that. Like, I knew it was. I knew it wasn't good. I didn't want to react too much of it because I knew it was gonna be nothing that like we all would care about. But golly,
I know,
I
right?
did, like. Although again, I mean, Nintendo did save the day. Microsoft didn't show a lot that I like cared too much about. But at the same time, how can you argue against Games Pass? They keep showing. They show throughout that whole thing why Games Pass is like literally the best deal in gaming right now.
Yeah, because it's just getting more and more and more value as time goes on.
Yeah,
Where it
yeah.
seems like Sony is kind of dropped the ball and they're not trying to pick it up.
They're just saying you only got $70 to buy this new game. Well, sucks to be you.
Uh, yeah, the whole Jim Ryan Sony thing of exclusives, big AAA stuff, nothing else. Screw everything else. Big AAAs. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then, of course, he wants to play old, shitty-looking games, even though he has come out and kind of walked that back since. But still. I gotcha.
Oh, stop! I'm. Thanks, fire truck. Starshaw said your voice dropped a little, or something like that.
Oh, did it?
Hold on.
Oh,
Let me check. Go ahead, say something. Let me check. Go ahead,
yeah.
say
Like
something.
to me, you sound fine, but
I don't hear you on the stream.
ah, son of a beep, son of a beep.
audio settings and not. I think it's because I have my my what do you call it? The webcam disabled.
Now I hear you on the stream.
Okay. Anyway, as I was saying, for those who didn't listen to me, I said when coming to E3 2021, I wasn't expecting it to be the way it was, but I guess it was inevitable because of COVID having a really big impact on all the companies, and this is inevitably what we got.
Mm-hmm.
So, but hey, hopefully next year all the companies will be a lot more prepared for it. The ones who really just.
Hopefully next year we go back to having actual good old-fashioned reactions.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that we'll be ready for that next year too, since we skipped down this year as a group.
Because I was just you've been in you see this industry long enough, you could feel these things.
Mm-hmm. And it wasn't just E3 that was bad. No, the Summer Game Fest was also pretty bad too.
There was only one. Oddly enough, though, and I brought this up before, but now that we're live and I can officially talk about it. Oddly enough, the one thing that I was actually excited for and pre-ordered out of all these announcements during this month was from Summer's Games Fest, and it was that Dungeons and Dragons game, which comes out this Tuesday.
Dark Alliance.
Yep.
And it's really. I guess we're starting to see somewhat of a resurgence of Dungeons and Dragons in video games as of recent, and I guess this is definitely one of those games that's. It's kind of coming back into the into the spotlight, essentially. And sure, it's not like say a sequel to like those Dungeons and Dragons games from Capcom, but at the same time, it's good to know that that there's at least still has a place in video games in this day and age, somewhat. But yeah, it was pretty cool to actually see something like that.
I thought Halo turned it around.
We'll get to Microsoft eventually.
We'll chat. Yeah, we'll kind of talk about each one in turn, I'm sure here. So
yeah, first off, is that
we're just currently talking about like the whole.
Yeah.
What? You're really irritating me.
Hold on a second.
And he has to go. Meantime, how do you feel about high prices of Canadian games? Because I've heard you guys got to pay $80.
It's absurd. I'll tell you. Actually, here, let me literally go look at something right now.
Okay.
Since I will go on to Walmart.ca, of course, Canadian version of Walmart. And it's a gong show to navigate, but just give me a second. I will go to the. God damn it. I did not want to highlight all these things, you stupid website. Okay, yeah. Well, good luck trying to get an actual like PS5 or, well, to a lesser extent, a Series X. Since they're slightly easier to get in Canada, but, emphasis on slightly easier.
Makes sense.
But yeah, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart Launch Edition, $89.96.
Golly, $90.
Dang!
$90. Returnal, $90. Yeah, so big AAA PS5 games on launch are $90, including FF7 Intergrade.
Oh God!
Which is something I would actually want to get.
And yet they say that the US dollar and the Canadian dollar have been close lately. That's not even remotely close.
Apparently, yeah, because $90 to our 70 is, yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I know, right?
All right, so I guess we should go ahead and talk about Ubisoft.
Yeah, I got Ubisoft in front of me on our little handy dandy list. Thanks to this user, Xenti, on E3 Expo subreddit for doing all this work. Golly.
Oh God, yes.
Makes things a lot easier.
Because I even said you have better memory than me, but even even you guys couldn't remember all this. So thanks to this person. So, anyways,
Mhm.
we're on Ubisoft first.
Yes.
And Metal, Ubisoft has a lot of Rainbow Six stuff. Can you go over
Yeah,
which one is actually good?
okay,
Yeah, what?
I'm gonna sit you down. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you the
Better?
story. Okay. Okay, we started off with their big lead announcement was Rainbow Six Extraction, which is
Yeah.
not a sequel to Rainbow Six Siege. It is basically it's a new game built on the same engine, basically like reusing a lot of the same assets and using the Rainbow Six operator characters, but it is its
Mhm.
own thing, and it is ostensibly apparently a 4-player kind of co-op PvE game, which sounds kind of interesting because we've got these basically alien virus parasites that are invading Earth, and it's your job with your team to go in there and take them down and try to fight your way through them. And if one of your teammates gets taken down, you basically, the rest of the team has to go in there and rescue them. Down one man, or two, or three.
Yeah,
But
so instead of going up against terrorists, you're going up against basically a bunch of parasitic zombies.
yeah, alien virus zombie things.
Yeah,
Like I said,
and
oh, sorry.
go ahead, Metal.
Okay.
I was gonna say, and I even said, I think it was during the stream or after that stream, I was kind of hoping, I was kind of wondering whether or not if people were going to raise a stink about it. And when I talked to you, Metal, at some point during the day after that stream, you were like, oh God, people are actually making a huge stink about this.
People are, for a few reasons. One, they're basically pulling a Majora's Mask with it, basically using the same game and kind of tweaking it and turning it into something, sort of new. Since, like, the gameplay, the way the guns look and work is all, like, lifted right out of Siege. Though, obviously, it's going to be a little different because this is a 4-player PvE thing as opposed to, like, a 5-on-5 tactical shooter. So,
right.
It's going to be a little different. As well as the fact that it is a full-priced game. Despite the fact it is using pre-existing assets, game engine, characters, all that stuff, it is a full-price game. The plus side is it's basically coming out on absolutely everything that's not the Switch, including Amazon Luna and Google Stadia.
Yeah.
Both of which aren't dead yet. Even like Xbox One and PS4 it's coming out on, though those versions will be slightly neutered, I'm sure. But
hey,
yeah.
Hey, Switch owners, consider yourself lucky with this one.
Yeah. And the other Rainbow Six stuff was just they announced that soon PC and console owners will be able to crossplay. So that is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
That is kind of cool. Like, yeah, like up till now you could always use a controller on PC and even a mouse and keyboard on console, but now we'll be getting more like true crossplay. So that's actually going to be kind of cool. So yeah, that was pretty much the Siege portion of the show. So
yeah, or we should just say mostly the Rainbow Six portion.
Yeah, basically, but.
Yeah, and on top of that, it's just we got a bunch of updates on games that we already know that have already released, but they have like new content available coming to them, like Brawlhalla, for instance. It's getting a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles collaboration, which is going on right now, which I honestly thought that was pretty cool.
Star Shell mentioned about the Tom Clancy games being a lot of rehashes, but yeah, no, the TMNT thing is pretty cool because Brawlhalla is actually not so bad. I played it a little bit.
And it's free to play too, by the way, guys, if you haven't tried it out. So yeah, that was that I thought that was out of the games that have an update to it. I honestly thought that was actually the most awesome of the updates. I mean, there were others that had updates like For Honor. It's called Mirage. I think it's a Mirage update. I'm not sure what that all equates to. Trackmania is getting a Royal Mode update. The live updates are coming to the Crew 2. Even the upcoming DLC for Watch Dogs Legion. And, of course, when it comes to Ubisoft, they always got to announce a Just Dance game every single year. But, surprisingly enough, no Wii or Wii U port.
Yeah, they haven't done Wii U ports for a few years, but they were still doing Wii ports. Like, I think 2021 was the last one that they did a Wii port of, because 2022 does not have a Wii port. So, there you go.
Which is very interesting.
End of an era, I guess.
Yeah. So I guess out of all the updates, probably the one that people had the most interest in was the new The Siege of Paris coming to Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
That does look pretty awesome, yeah.
So basically, the Norse Vikings are invading Paris. And I honestly thought it was just going to be, everything with Assassin's Creed Valhalla was going to be in relation to Norse mythology in that sense, where everything's just going to take place around Midgard and the different worlds within the Great Tree of Yggdrasil. The different realms, essentially. But I guess not, because Vikings are invading Napoleon Bonaparte's territory.
Oh, they did. And they messed shit up.
Yeah, they did.
But a couple... They did show some other new games, though, which are interesting. Like, I wouldn't really call it a game, since it's kind of morphed away from being a game, is that they're basically launching what they're calling Rocksmith Plus.
Yes.
Which, yeah, they are continuing the I guess you could say, the Guitar Hero kind of rival that was more focused on actually teaching you guitar, like how to play.
Yeah, basically simulation, like Rock Band or Guitar Hero, if that makes sense.
Rock Band, Guitar Hero were arcadey. Like they were basically straight up copies of Konami's Guitar Freaks arcade game, but. Yeah, Rocksmith was always the more technical, like you said, more towards like actually teaching you how to do chords and everything. And they seem to be leaning really heavily into that, as they're going to have an app.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jerry?
Oh, Star Child just in the chat. You can connect real guitars to Rocksmith.
They were even saying, they were showing, so you can actually hook up a guitar and play along and everything. And it's interesting that they're leaning more in towards the teaching side of it as opposed to the game side, which makes sense given how it always was more geared towards teaching guitar than just being like an arcade experience. But
right.
That's interesting. But another interesting one,
and there's there's an app on on tablets and smartphones for that too. But I think they're also leaning the game towards a PC release as well.
Yeah, according to this, it does have a PC release. Actually, I think it's PC mobile only. I think so. Oh,
like another game from another presser that we're also going to talk about in a bit that people are really making a huge stink about. But so that was that. One of the couple things that was only new, but. Well, I wouldn't say couple. I would say new from stuff that we already, from a property that we already knew existed, I guess you could say. But then near the end, they showcased Far Cry 6, a new trailer for that.
Yeah.
And who did they got playing the main antagonist again? I can't remember his name.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Yes.
Yeah. AKA, Gus Fring, Breaking Bad. He's been in a lot of other stuff. He's one of those actors that makes a really good villain. Obviously, he's Moff Gideon in The Mandalorian. That's what most people know him as more recently. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard. Yeah, when it comes to Far Cry, I guess the big highlight from that series is always a compelling and just downright just
Starshell says something.
incredible
about another story.
portrayal of the main and incredible portrayal of the main antagonist, especially when it comes to Far Cry 3. I heard people say that Far Cry 3's main antagonist is like one of the best examples of an antagonist you can have in a video game, and then that trend obviously continued with 4, 5, and 6. But a lot of people say that the main baddie in those games ended up becoming lackluster in comparison to 3.
Which is funny because they also announced the new mode where you get to play as the bad guys from 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Voss, what's his name, and Seed. Yeah, that was kind of interesting. And the return of Far Cry Blood Dragon.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That new thing that with the Far Cry Blood Dragon into it. Did they say that that's coming back, or if it's just a completely separate mode that with just elements that's tacked into that?
I don't think they've announced terribly much on that yet. I'm assuming we'll get more since it is slated for an October release. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was kind of interesting though. So.
And then the second to last announcement, which I think everybody agreed that was probably the only decent thing that was showcased at the Ubisoft presser, was they announced a sequel to Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle called Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. And basically, I guess what they're doing is they're kind of taking that same approach as Super Mario Galaxy, because Rabbid, Rosalina, and the Lumas are fused with Rabbids and are called Sparks, essentially. So, and the whole gimmick is that you can travel to different worlds to, you know, do whatever big adventure that Mario and the Rabbids are currently doing. But yeah, thing is with Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, not only does it retain the same gameplay as the Kingdom Battle one, but when you're playing as each character within the grid that they move in, you can do like free movement around the how far they can move, essentially. So I guess that's like I guess that's like the big thing when it comes to trying to add in a quality of life improvement into the sequel. Pretty much.
It's not grid based anymore. It's free movement within whatever your character's range is, which it's just
very
cool.
much like Valkyria Chronicles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because you can only move so far, but you can move freely within that, as opposed to like the more XCOM kind of style where it's grid based.
And not only do you have Mario with like dual pistols basically, but also the characters that you play as, they also have different weapons aside from using the same weapon as in the first game. So like Luigi has himself a bow with arrows, and some of the other ones actually had something that was unique and different from each other as well. But yeah, it was it's cool that they were adding a bit of variety to the weapon types that each character can carry on to them too. And they also have this really edgelord Rabbid who has spiky hair and a huge broadsword on his back. I wonder what that's a reference to.
Yes, the Edge Rabbit.
Guts Rabbid, as I'm calling him. I mean, Guts sure, he doesn't look like Guts from Berserk, but that's what I'm gonna call it. Guts, the punk rocking Berserk Rabbid.
Guts,
just anime Rabbid.
Yeah, Edge. Oh, edgy. Ugh. I got a Buster Sword.
But it was.
I want to mention Ubisoft did one thing for us. They confirmed the death of the Wii.
Yeah, they did.
You don't get what I mean. It's because Just Dance finally is. This latest one is not coming for the Wii. This new one they announced.
Mm-hmm.
It's dead.
The Wii is officially dead.
Yeah. R.I.P. But yeah, I will admit the last game they showed off was a surprise. I wasn't expecting to see anything about this game. I didn't even know it was in development until I realized, oh yeah, I guess that's right, Avatar 2 is coming out, isn't it?
Yes.
And of course, we're getting Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora sometime next year.
And that's the second time they are putting out an Avatar game. The first one was back in 2009, which was the prequel game, or which was the video game that was a prequel to the upcoming movie.
Yeah. Which is funny because it just still called itself James Cameron's Avatar, but it didn't kind of indicate it was meant to be like a prequel to the movie. It was just called James Cameron's Avatar.
Yeah.
I saw the trailer for that Avatar game, and I'll give it this: in 4K, it looks pretty.
Oh yeah, it looks wonderful.
It's just I don't care that much about Avatar, but it looks great. That's like it's just like when I bought the original Avatar on Blu-ray. Wait, you actually like this movie? Like, no, it's just for me to show off how cool Blu-ray is. The same thing with me with this game. I would show off how cool 4K gaming is. It's that game you use to show off. It's Avatar is always that series that you just use to show off whatever technology you want to show off.
Mm-hmm. And then after that was pretty much a wrap with Ubisoft stuff.
Yeah.
And nothing major. Those Watch Dogs got an update. Crew got an update.
Yeah,
nothing.
The Bloodlines update, which confirms the return of the first game's main protagonist, Aiden Pierce.
Oh yeah, the dude my dad actually liked because he liked the first Watch Dogs. I actually liked.
Oh yeah.
I didn't see any of the sequels, but that's cool if he comes back. I might try it. I don't know.
Okay. But overall, I guess we could say that Ubisoft was okay, but wasn't really that big of a surprise. But
right, that's what I'd say myself. Middle of the road to me.
Yeah, middle of the road. There were some unique surprises to the whole thing, but for the most part, it was just pretty boring.
Yeah.
All right.
Damn.
Now, I guess it's time for us to talk about Gearbox, or should I say Take-Two?
Not really.
All they did was talk. No games.
Talking about diversity in the gaming.
And we're not here to talk about which way to see. We're not here to do that, but it's just that we want we want to see games. It's you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess the only thing original that they showcased was that new Wonderlands game, which was called Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. It's basically a spin-off to the Borderlands games.
Oh, okay.
But the thing is that it has Ashley Birch voicing the main character. Why am I not surprised on that?
Yeah. I'm not either, but there isn't too much. But Xbox Bethesda.
But you know, no, before we get to that, I just also want to say, for Gearbox, probably the biggest epic fail in their, or what Take-Two showcased. Why is it that you're bringing Godfall to the PS4? And they're like, well, God4 didn't sell very well, so we'll just bring it to the PS4. No, that's not the reason. The game, you have microtransactions in that game, and it just looks boring as hell. And that's why nobody bought it, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's gonna play a game with microtransactions like that. It's like, and you think people are gonna buy it on PS4 more because you're hoping to get the sales back? It's like, no, that's not the case. You made Godfall have microtransactions in it. When I first saw it, it looked very phenomenal for what it looked like. But when I heard that they put in microtransactions, like, are you kidding me? But anyway, that was my big gripe on Gearbox. So yeah, let's go to Xbox and Bethesda.
Yeah,
talk about their great stuff.
I gotta say,
decent.
Yeah, because they started off with Todd the God Howard coming out and actually showing us Starfield, dropping two big bombs. One was the release date, November 11th, 2022, and
so President's Day next year.
Yeah, or
Veterans Day. I mean,
long time until bloody.
Yeah, and the biggest thing, it is an Xbox exclusive.
Yeah.
Because, it's not like Xbox owns Bethesda or anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but that wasn't a big surprise, really. I think a lot of people saw it coming.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even though Xbox and Bethesda are like, Oh no, we're gonna probably still make stuff for other consoles, and by other consoles we mean PC.
Yeah.
Basically. But what little we saw Starfield, it does look kind of interesting, but obviously it's way too early to tell. This is a game that is
Yeah,
like
because
a
they didn't
year and a
really.
half
Yeah,
off.
they didn't really show any gameplay. They just pretty much showed the trailer. So
Like
basically,
a
they
nice-
gave a.
Yeah.
We
Like,
wouldn't
it's-
see anything about Elder Scrolls until this came out. So
Yeah,
the fact
once
we gotta wait
this-
another for this to come out, then we could see Elder Scrolls. I'm just like, hey.
I Gavolt, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So next up, Stalker 2: Heart of Chernobyl.
Oh wow, that's still a thing, huh?
Yeah, Stalker
Yeah.
is, and it's getting more weird, alternate universe dimension weirdness. It's not just about crawling around in the 40-mile rad zone anymore. It's about fighting weird interdimensional monster creature aliens. I don't know.
Yeah, and during when they showcased the trailer for that, didn't they have those guys who were who were around that campfire, basically talking to each other?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
Spinning
honestly, Which honestly, I thought that was kind of weird that they're doing that, but at the same time, it just kind of felt very cheesy and sentimental in a sense.
Starfield has a point. He said if he was Microsoft, he would just make all of Bethesda's games exclusive. Like technically, if right, like you just want to make the money. I'm not saying I want that. I'm saying it's true if you were them, right, business wise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sorry.
And then I guess the next thing they showcased was Back for Blood.
The same thing WB Games showcase and
Yep.
nothing else.
Oh yes, basically the continuation of Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, the spiritual successor, since it's made by the same guys who made Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
But they
Total
can't
Rock.
make a 3. They can't make 3, so hey, let's go somewhere else and basically make 3, but not call it that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like again, if you enjoyed the whole PvE Left 4 Dead thing, I think like it does look really nice, and I am kind of seeing where things go from here, because it is like it's yet another October release. There's a lot of releases in October, come to think of it, but anyways. Like it doesn't look too bad, and it is also coming to PS5, so that's cool too. As well as for some reason Xbox One and PS4.
Hold on a sec.
Okay.
Starchild said, I thought it was weird that a lot of games nowadays are going for that loaded/reloaded gameplay point of view. And if you don't know what he means, he's talking about top-down shooters.
Oh yeah. No, I know what you're talking about.
Are you talking about Contraband?
Well, he's talking about a lot of games that were announced.
Like in general,
or
yeah.
just in general.
Yeah.
Have
Oh,
a
okay.
top-down shooter.
I mean, the teaser for Contraband didn't give us a lot, but it's like it's a thing that's coming. But you know what is interesting? Army Hearties. That Sea of Thieves A isn't dead and B is getting a crossover with Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes.
Did
Yeah.
you like Sea of Thieves? I never played Sea of Thieves.
I haven't played Sea of Thieves, even though I do have it on Steam.
But yeah, now including Jack Sparrow, Davy Jones, and the Flying Dutchman. Arr, with all their pirate shenanigans. And honestly, it seems like a thing that just kind of perfectly fits. And
Oh yeah, definitely.
it actually makes me semi-interested in this game. So
Mhm.
it's done its job, I suppose. Make me
Yeah.
interested in Sea of Thieves.
And then I guess it was announced that Yakuza Like a Dragon has finally made it to Game Pass,
Excellent. Everybody
as
should
well
enjoy.
as Yakuza Kiwami 1, 2, and 0, as well as the Yakuza Remastered Collection, also on Xbox Series X.
Starchild asked,
yeah.
is Sea of Thieves free?
With Game Pass.
No, you have to pay to buy. Yep. Well, it is free to play, but the thing is that you have to pay money to actually buy the game.
I was gonna say I thought it was free with Game Pass.
Well, it is free. Well, it is free with Game Pass, but
I thought
But-
yeah, because I was gonna say I think you're subscribed to Game Pass Ultimate, you get it for free. Well, because it's
yes,
part of the service. But no, I know what you're talking about. If you don't want to join Game Pass Ultimate, then yeah, it'll cost you money. Basically.
Yeah.
But after that, we got an interesting look at Battlefield 2042, the upcoming EA insanity shooter. Oh boy, where they're going even further beyond Super Saiyan. Put it literally, because Battlefield's always been just in this like weird, frantic insanity with just like hundreds of people on the same map, all blasting and destroying shit all over the place. This thing looks like that with kind of that sort of 20 minutes in the future, sort of pseudo futuristic where, stuff that's, in development now and everything. And not to mention, climate change fueled like dynamic maps with like sandstorms and tornadoes, floods, all that kind of crazy shit. And yeah, I got to say the trailer actually looks pretty awesome, and I'm sort of looking forward to seeing some more from 2042. The only downside is there is no campaign; it is multiplayer only. But
yes,
I'd hate to say it, people don't play Battlefield for the campaign. I mean, the campaign for Battlefield 1 was actually good. For V, no. So yeah, they have had some decent ones, like obviously the Bad Company sub-series, and Battlefield 1, like I said, I thought was decent, but you don't need campaign to make Battlefield. It's like the 128 player lobbies that make Battlefield. So, yeah.
So, going down the list here, I guess they showed another trailer for that indie game called 12 Minutes.
Yeah, because this year we actually...
Go ahead.
Because they showed it off for the first time last year, but this year we actually got wind of who's playing the 3 titular characters. And they are James McAvoy, Daisy Ridley, and William Dafoe.
Yeah, Willem Dafoe.
Yes, and him and his confusingly large hogs.
That and his huge creepy grin.
But it's interesting that we're getting some, decently talented actors into this ostensibly kind of interesting little game that plays out over real time in 12 minutes. And it's an intriguing concept because it does bill itself as a, quote, interactive thriller. So it's definitely not a game in the traditional sense.
Right.
More like interactive fiction kind of thing, but it is kind of intriguing, and I want to see how it turns out.
Oh, hey, Star Trail said he's never been interested in Battlefield or COD, but he works with a guy who plays them, and he says that that the guy who he hasn't played, his colleague said that they haven't fixed their issue of the last Battlefield frame rate issues.
The V,
But I don't know.
Yeah, like I'm still big into 1. I've never really gotten into V for some reason, but whatever. That's another thing.
All right, next up, Psychonauts 2.
Oh yeah! I'm surprised it still hasn't come out yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's coming out in August.
25th. August 25th.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So it is coming sooner, relatively soon, like a couple months. So. It's finally coming.
And then we also got the announcement that Doom Eternal is getting a next-gen upgrade for Xbox Series X.
Oh yeah, all that nice 4K, 120 frames, niceness and everything.
Yeah, that and the PS5 as well. And believe it or not, I think also Panic Button actually did that port for the PS5 and Series X and S upgrade to where,
Yeah, I think so. Interesting.
Because they did do Doom Eternal on the Nintendo Switch. The same people, Panic Button Entertainment, who also did the Switch port of Doom 2016 on there, and they've been pretty good with porting their games to multiple platforms with optimal results.
Mm-hmm. That is true, yeah. And then, of course, we got the game that everybody loves and still plays feverishly to this day, Fallout 76.
Yep.
Yes,
basically-
it's yes.
They showed off the Steel Rain expansion, which is a Brotherhood of Steel expansion onto the game. Which actually, Fallout 76 is one of those weird games where it's becoming kind of more of an actual game as more and more stuff gets crowbarred onto it. It's approaching an. I know it's approaching an actual game, but it's Bethesda.
There's the reason why it's but then remember the thing where oh hey, you can do private servers. Oh hey, everything's gone.
Yeah, Fallout 76's incompetence at launch is legendary. So
Mm-hmm.
It's I just want it to function, you know?
Well, amen, yeah. And of course, we got the announcement of the next, I guess, major expansion coming next year, where we're going back to the pit.
Yes.
Yeah, from Fallout 3
Yeah,
DLC.
Mhm.
And somebody's got the radio on.
Yeah. So yeah, we're actually going back to well, not back. This is set before, but basically, yeah, we're going to Pittsburgh, which, like I said, was one of the major DLCs for Fallout 3. So yeah, we'll be able to see it. Once again, lovely, scummy, industrial shithole Pittsburgh.
Not your Pittsburgh, the one in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Starchild said they've already spent so much time and money at 76. They kind of have to keep trying to improve it.
Yeah, they have to. They have to keep it going.
Yeah.
They've sunk so much money into it, even though it's a glorified Fallout 4 mod. But
Basically, yeah.
but we did get the peek at the next Elder Scrolls Online expansion, Deadlands.
Yes.
Elder Scrolls Online actually isn't bad. That one also did have a great launch, but that one picked itself up a lot better than 76.
Yeah, it picked itself up, dusted itself off, and is a pretty decent MMO now, which lets you relive the early era of Tamriel. So yeah, it's kind of cool. And they also announced that it's getting a next-gen upgrade, I guess you could say, coming. Actually, it's out now.
Yes, came out on back this Tuesday.
Yeah, the Elder Scrolls Online next-gen update is, well, out there now. So there you go.
Which is neat, because I want to play this. If Starchild or you or somebody would play it with me, I'd definitely play it.
If it's free to play, I'll play it.
It doesn't need a subscription. You just buy the game, if I remember right. But there is a trial right now.
I was gonna say, yeah, there is a limited trial.
Okay, so it's good to know that there's no subscription, because I've been way too stuck on Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah, no, exactly.
It's the whole thing where you'll need to buy the expansions, but there isn't, a monthly fee or anything. Yeah, but...
And okay, so next game, Party Animals. Basically, it's what was the name of that fighting game that looked like it had weird, wonky physics? Basically, you know what I'm talking about. The one that I think it was Team 17 that put out.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Gang Beasts or whatever. Was that what it was called?
Yeah.
Gang Beasts?
Gang Beasts is the one where you're like a bunch of wonky dudes trying to throw each other off.
Yeah, and Party Animals is essentially like that.
Yep. I remember playing Gang Beasts.
Gang Beasts is funny.
Yeah. I forgot how I played it. Was it free for Plus at one point? Might have been.
I'm pretty...
But anyway.
Yeah, it might have been.
Keep going.
Okay, Hades is finally getting a release. The indie game by Supergiant Games getting a release on Xbox Series X.
To play the other ones they made, and I have them. Bastion and was it Tempest?
Or was it?
Game?
Oh yeah, was it Bastion or yeah? I think it was Bastion, or was it Hyperlight Drifter?
No, it was Bastion, dude. That was their first one. Then there was a second one.
Yeah, I know there was a second one. I was trying to figure out what the second one was.
It was something
Oh well.
Tempest or Torrent or something. But yeah, Transistor. That's it. I knew it with T.
Yeah, Transistor. That's what I was thinking of.
I still need to play those. I have Transistor and Bastion. I just haven't tried them.
Mm-hmm. I have Transistor, but I don't think I have Bastion. So Somerville, that was the next game that was showcased. I can't remember exactly what that game was.
Well, it's a handy dandy trailer here. I'll what's it called? Somerville?
Somerville.
Yeah.
Let's see here. It is a sci-fi game.
Oh right, it's that one game where you're basically playing as that family of three. It's basically kind of like Limbo. That family of three along with that dog.
That is right.
Again, shout outs to that to that user on Reddit.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks very cool, the overall concept for that game, but I'm not sure whether or not it'd be something I would play personally, but still, it looks pretty cool. And I guess the big highlight after that, the big highlight for the Xbox and Bethesda presser was Halo Infinite.
That's right, and funnily enough, announced coming as Q4 2021, despite all kind of word of the development studio being in shambles and it probably getting delayed to next year. They've said, no, it's coming out end of this year. So,
yeah.
And not to mention the gameplay
and guess what?
it is awesome.
And it doesn't look like trash after what was shown from last year.
It actually looks decent, and not to mention the kind of big thing that the multiplayer looks pretty hype, and the biggest win that the multiplayer is free to play.
All right.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Diablo 2 Resurrected was the next thing that they showcased. So, yeah, if you played Diablo 2...
is multi-platform, by the way, but for some reason only Microsoft actually showed it at their presser.
I mean, if you play Diablo 2, then it's pretty much the same game, but just with a different with an updated coat of paint, basically. Even though they do give you the option to play the original graphics.
I like Diablo 2 is a good old-fashioned whatchamacall.
Hack and slash RPG. Team-based. Team-based or single player, but yeah. I mean, Diablo 2, Resurrected, it actually looks pretty good. I really did enjoy Diablo 2 when it released.
Yeah.
All right, next game, A Plague Tale Requiem.
Yes, a sequel to the original Plague Tale. Requiem just put out that they're coming out this year. It's a story about like this kid, these two kids who are siblings who have powers during this weird plague with rats, just like the bubonic plague.
Mm-hmm.
But
oh yeah, that trailer, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tidal wave of rats.
Yeah.
The rats.
Yeah, so basically, it's like it's like the old industrial age of London when the bubonic plague was a thing.
Yeah. Well.
Or whatever time period that was when it was prevalent,
like medieval times.
Yeah, medieval times. Okay, never mind then. Then they showed Far Cry 6 again, which we already discussed. Then they showcased a game called Slime Rancher 2.
Yeah.
Nice.
Not Monster Rancher. Slime Rancher.
Monster Rancher.
Although I do miss Monster Rancher.
That I know much about, or that one was just like, okay, that's a thing, That's
and the next trailer then the next game they showcased was Shredders. Basically, it's a snowboarding game, or it's a racing game, but I think snowboarding was one of the things that they showed, as well as having jetpacks.
That one looked cool to me. That one looked cool to me, I remember.
Yeah, it definitely gives me an arcadey vibe, kind of like SSX, a little bit.
Yeah.
Even though it's still going for that realism type of approach.
I remember because I remember distinctly saying, "Man, this makes me want a new XSX as well."
Mm-hmm. And it looks like it's on track for a December release this year, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
Sometime in December. The next game, Atomic Heart, was shown. I think that was another indie game. No. It looks like it's a. It does look like it's a AAA type of experience, but this one, I don't have a lot of memory of seeing about. But then again, that might be because I was way too busy with just looking at the chat and all that and other things when watching the press event. But and just looking at the trailer, it just looks like you're playing. It's a first-person shooter, but you have like these weird gadgets and stuff that kind of help you. And it's really hard to say exactly what it's going on. It says it takes place in the Soviet Union in an alternate reality sometime in 1955, where technology like the internet, holograms, and robots have become invented. The main protagonist is a special agent called P-3, who is sent by the government to investigate a manufacturing facility that has fallen silent. So that's basically the synopsis of that. But the next game that they showcased was actually probably the biggest surprise for me when it came to the indie scene, and that's a game called Replaced. Replaced, it's basically goes for that same type of feeling as the HD 2D games that Square Enix is doing, like with Octopath Traveler and even the upcoming Project Triangle Strategy and the Dragon Quest III remake. But yeah, it looks like This looks like the visuals actually exceed what they're, working with for those games, because it looks like. Did you see the trailer for Replaced?
Did I? Let me see.
I mean, just looking at it, it just.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
It's basically 2D sprites on like a 3D setting, essentially. But it has this really It has this really weird effect, like it's a side scroller, but it works so well.
Is that the one that I originally thought was a Vanillaware game? Mm-hmm. Like just
I
the
think
way
so.
The art style is, it's like nice 2D. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's like that.
Game was cool.
Or I should say like a nicer visual of Katana Zero, because I'm getting Katana Zero vibes from Devolver Digital just looking at the trailer.
I was like one of the people that was like, is this Vanillaware? And it turned like, nope. Like, oh well, that shut me up.
But yeah, it really looks great. Just the new trailer alone, and it's definitely one of those games that really is making me want to buy it when it comes out next year.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, next game that's coming out on the 30th, they showcased, was called Grounded Shroom and Doom.
Yeah, the update to Grounded, which is an interesting, like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids kind of.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the game by Obsidian.
Yeah, and it's kind of goofy and like lighthearted and stuff. It's kind of cool, and they're also the ones that have the arachnophobia mode that turns like the spiders and stuff into like globs, so it doesn't trigger you if you have arachnophobia. It's just kind of which is laudable, but yeah.
Laudable, but very funny, because when you associate when you think of spiders, you don't associate them with like big, huge blobs, like the Blob, essentially the big giant movie monster.
Like it's fun, but it does look kind of cool though. And let's not forget the one of the most played games in Twitch history is coming to Game Pass.
Oh, that's
Among Us.
Among Us.
Yep. And I think they even showcased a new update to it as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Which is now live, that allows for 15-person lobbies with 3 imposters.
Yes, the 3 imposters was the thing.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? We're all sus. There's 3 of us, remember?
Yeah.
There you go.
But the next game after that, I was really surprised that they showcased it during the Xbox and Bethesda presser, and that was the game Eiyuden Chronicle. 100 Heroes, and that's the spiritual successor to Suikoden that's being worked on by the creator of that franchise.
That's super cool, and it's Xbox, and I remember asking you guys said Japan's finally giving Xbox some love, and it's like, why do I care? Because even though I don't play Xbox, because I want to see Japan show Western stuff that isn't we can do this too.
Yeah, and Eiyuden Chronicle is another game. That looks like it's amongst that HD 2D feeling, but it's actually developed in Unreal Engine 5.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you could just see why the the pixels on the characters, they just pop out at you when they're on that 3D plane, basically. But not only are we getting that game in 2023, which they finally showcased what the launch year is going to be, but they also announced a companion piece called Eiyuden Chronicle Rising, which that caught me by surprise. Eiyuden Chronicle
for Xbox, or is that?
Yeah, it's also for Xbox. And Eiyuden Chronicle Rising, I think from what they showcased, it looks like it's a side-scrolling hack and slash game. Whereas,
funny.
Of course,
if I can't build a PC, I might buy a Series S, just because it's only at $300.
But Eiyuden Chronicle Rising looks like a hack and slash side-scrolling game with RPG elements, but of course, Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes, if you guys ever played Suikoden, that's basically the same gameplay that it's going for.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a game that I supported on Kickstarter because
it looks like it's Suikoden 2 style specifically. The battle system. Does it?
Kinda. Okay, next up is The Ascent, which is coming out next month on the 15th. The Ascent. They only showcase 40 seconds of it, so basically it's a top-down overhead, team-based shooter.
Why?
It looks a lot like a twin-stick shooter, yeah.
It kind of looks like, just looking at the visuals, it kind of looks like it's a team-based Contra Rogue Core, if that makes any sense.
And we all know how good that game was. Yeah, but then we get into some exciting stuff with Age of Empires 4 being announced. So yeah, we'll be able to build our world wonders and get some Ecum Bokum up in this bitch.
Yes.
Yeah, that's on October 28th, so cool. We also got the incredibly self-aware meta trailer for The Outer Worlds 2.
Yes, which was
Wow.
completely unexpected what that trailer was actually for, because with it being, very self-aware and breaking the fourth wall, we're like, what kind of game is this? And then when they showcased Outer Worlds 2, I was like, oh, Obsidian, you sons of bitches.
Showing why they're the better writers than Bethesda. Oh, I see.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, that was definitely one of the big surprises, and I know that someone like you, Jerry, would have was also surprised when you heard the announcement for that too.
Yeah, I still need to play the first one, and I want to.
Next up, Microsoft Flight Simulator is finally getting its Xbox Series X and S version.
Yeah,
super hyped for that.
Which is pretty cool. Yeah, because this is like one of the deepest kind of flight sims out there, because you can play it as real or as loosely as you really want. You can dial it all the way up to be, totally realistic, having to flip all the switches and everything. Or you can make it, pretty, if you just want to get up there, fly around a bit, see some cities and shit, you could do that. So that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, I used to own Microsoft Flight Simulator on Windows 95 back in the day, but I could barely even play it because I don't know how it worked, or it was because my joystick, which I actually had the Microsoft Sidewinder 3D Pro joystick back in the day, which didn't even function well, and I regret buying one.
Those cool joysticks. Starchild brought up.
Oh,
It
yeah.
would be cool if it had co-op too.
But the thing is, Jerry, how you say that. You know how you said that Gran Turismo 7 is really, wanting to get you back into Gran Turismo?
Yes.
This game, Microsoft Flight Simulator, the newest one that they showcased, especially with the Xbox Series X and S release, which is also coming up, which I think this update is also being applied towards the PC version. This is like the game that wants me to get back into Microsoft Flight Simulator. Just looking how good it looks and how detailed like everything is, basically.
Yeah.
It just
Plus,
looks phenomenal.
Yeah, not to mention we're getting a crossover collab with Top Gun Maverick
Yes.
in
Top
MSN.
Gun. I mean,
Highway to the Danger Zone, bitch.
If you don't know, I was doing 0083 because everybody keeps calling that Top Gun, even though it's only Top Gun for like 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Which is awesome, yeah. And speaking of games that our dear friend was hyped for, Forza Horizon 5.
Yes, I mentioned
Yes.
this, and this is something I might as well bring up now. Seems like most games I'm super excited for are all racing games, and they're all console exclusive racing games to each console. And I'm like, huh.
As you race
Forza
through
looks
beautiful-
amazing.
Yeah.
GT7 looks amazing, and we'll get to the next one when we get to that conference.
But yeah, race through beautiful scenic Mexico.
Forza always looks great. I like Forza as much as I like GT. To be honest, like. Oh, and Kyle, you probably wanna see if your mic is a little high, I guess.
No, I accidentally hit it on mute, but Forza Horizon 5, I always preferred the Horizon games more so than I did the Motorsport games, because Motorsport just seems like traditional
better.
racing, whereas Horizon, it feels more like rally racing.
Yeah. Well, the original Forza was a lot like GT in that it was super. The original Forza series was like super like this is like driving a real car, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Check the clutch and stuff. If it
And
has a clutch.
Omega Mario, when he was on the stream with us, he was really flipping his shit because he was just so
Yeah.
excited just to see it with how really good it looked, and he even went to their official website to watch the trailer in 4K, and he was just blown away with how good it looks on 4K display.
I'm American, but for some reason I got one very British thing about me, and it's that I love the Forza using very British drum and bass music, and I'm like I'm like the one American. I'm not literally the one American, but I'm like the one of the few Americans. It's like yeah, D&B tradition. Yeah, let's do this.
Leroy Jenkins. Okay, and the next couple games they showcased were Origami 2. Origami, if you guys don't know, it's basically that indie game that's basically like Tenchu. Stealth Assassins.
Oh, like the OG Tenchu,
Like the OG Tenchu. Mm-hmm.
which I still have. I'm looking at it right now. I kid you not. I'm looking at my copy of Tenchu 1 still. That's one game I'll never get rid of. Like,
Oh yeah, never ever get rid of that. And I guess the other game that they showcased was Sable, which I think it's like a 3D sandbox type of adventure game that has a cel-shaded look. Just from looking at the trailer.
Child said he also still has Tenchu.
But yeah, that was the second to last game that was shown. But the last game that they showcased was a new IP from Arcane Studios. The developers between Dishonored and the recent Prey reboot.
Yes.
It was called Redfall.
Redfall, which has nothing to do with Elder Scrolls. Some people thought it was. Nope, it's a team open world RPG shooter game that you fight vampires in.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't my cup of tea. People were hyped for it. I was like, I like shooters and I like vampires, but for some reason I wasn't feeling it. But people were. And I'm like, cool, y'all can feel it. I'm one of those. It's one of those games where like, if you like it, that's cool. I just wasn't. Maybe if I see some actual gameplay, I might, dig it more.
Maybe.
Because it was just a CG trailer,
Mm-hmm. And then after that, that was it for Xbox and Bethesda.
Yep.
So yeah, it was a pretty decent showing until they got near the end of the presser. Even though that the entire press conference itself, they had some good stuff sprinkled in between too, but still, I thought it was definitely one of Xbox's best showings at E3 in quite a while.
That's why I'm glad we're doing this, because, like, at the time I was like, but now I'm like, you know what? That actually wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
hindsight.
And Metal, your final thoughts on Xbox and Bethesda?
Xbox Bethesda had actually a pretty solid conference. I mean, they showed off a bunch of stuff, almost all of it either on or coming to Game Pass, which is continues to be one of the best deals in gaming. Yeah, exactly. Showed off some pretty interesting games like Slime Rancher 2, obviously Illusion Chronicles, Age of Empires 4. Good to see Microsoft Flight Simulator coming to consoles. Redfall looks kind of interesting. Starfield, for what little we saw of it. A Pirate's Life expansion for Sea of Thieves is honestly kind of cool. So yeah, and all, they had a pretty solid conference, I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty solid.
And a lot of people, it's been debatable between them and Nintendo who had the better showing, but yeah.
I would say Nintendo, but that's just me personally.
Yeah, me personally, same.
Yeah, me personally too.
I'm not gonna knock Microsoft because they did well. It just
No.
But for games I was actually, Nintendo showed more for me. Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right, so that's it for them. Let's move on over to Square Enix.
Yes, Square.
Another like decently solid one. I mean, we'll talk about it here in a second, but yeah,
I do want to state, as my name is Chaos and it means chaos. What do you got against me, dude? You want to kill me so bad? Golly, I gotta kill chaos. I'm like, me just drinking my soda. What?
What did I do to you? Oh yeah, but
well, we'll get to that near the end.
Yeah, they started off strong though with showing their Guardians of the Galaxy game, which honestly is
a lot of people into that.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because it's kind of built on the same engine as their Avengers game.
It's like whatever they fixed.
Yeah, like whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because this one's a single player game. Yeah, that apparently you'll only be able to play as Star-Lord, but other than that,
but you can give commands to your other members of the group.
Give commands to your other groups, and not to mention the writing seems obviously in line with the Guardians' more kind of comedic nature, and everything's brighter and everything than the Avengers was, which was
Although I keep hearing a general opinion that the writing for the trailer, at least what they showcased, wasn't all up to snuff. But it's just a debut trailer, so what do you expect?
Yeah.
From what you see firsthand. I mean, I know for what you see firsthand, it does give you a general initial impression, but I would say just wait it out until we see more. Because honestly, it wasn't all. It didn't look all that ridiculous and didn't sound all that bad.
No, it was, and then we found out at the Nintendo conference it's actually coming to the Switch. So yeah,
albeit the cloud version.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah,
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, quote cloud version. Yeah.
What does that mean? You stream the game?
Yeah, basically.
Yes. Oh.
You have to stream it from their servers. Then there's the thing I sort of called. So I've got the phone in my hand, but I'm not ready to say I called it. If you know what I mean, since they announced the Final Fantasy Pixeled Remastered series, which is basically them cleaning up and prettying up either the iOS or other, I guess you could say, ports of Final Fantasies 1 through 6. Since, a lot of them are available either, through pretty nice looking mobile ports or like Steam ports or what have you. Basically, they're going to be all nice HDified, cleaned up, and everything, and put out on right now only PC and mobile, but more may come in future. And apparently, it is not a collection; they are pieced out individually.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but the thing is that everybody was getting real bitchy about the initial platforms that they announced because they were like, where's the console versions of these? It's like, they've done this before where they announced them for PC and the mobile ports, but there came to a point where they eventually came on the console front too. So I would not discard the possibility that they may come out on, say, the Switch, the PS5, the Series S and X down the road.
They didn't discount that. It's just right now it's only coming to Steam and PC. So, I mean Steam and mobile. Steam and mobile. But
Our child said he was kind of let down by Square because the Guardians of the Galaxy seemed limited, and the Final Fantasy collection looked cool, but he'd like it if it was coming to consoles.
Yeah. Might come. Speaking of coming to consoles, guess what's hitting us this coming week?
Legend of Mana HD.
Legend of Mana, yeah, HD.
So
Coming
if you
to
guys
PC.
ever played the PS1 game, it's getting an HD re-release.
Yeah, so that's awesome, and it's just coming up here on the 24th, so you won't have to wait too long for that.
5 days.
Yeah, basically. And then we got to look at the Marvel Avengers Black Panther War for Wakanda content pack. Yay! For Wakanda!
I need to get Ultimate Alliance 3. I never did, even though I have Switch now.
Wakanda forever! Yeah, so that's a thing if you still play or interested in that, for whatever reason. Then we... Babylon's Fall.
This one was my big disappointment. During Square Enix's presser.
Look up the trailer because I don't remember a lot about it.
Because when you look,
we were like, and then
Oh yeah.
Yeah, basically Babylon's Fall looks like it was developed by a Western studio with what they showcased from the trailer, but not only did it look that generic looking and look that slow paced and not full of substance and style like Platinum Games is best known for, but the thing that really sucks the most about this game is that it's a live service game.
Live service.
And, from last year, remember when Platinum Games did that Platinum 4 announcement thing, with them announcing that they were doing self-publishing amongst all other things. They also said that they opened up a studio in Tokyo that focuses on live service games. So me is thinking that this is probably the Tokyo studio's first game that they're working on that is a live service outing.
Unfortunately. Yeah, but
it just looked generic as hell, and my hype just went way down.
Honestly, yeah, it kind of did, but we'll have to wait to see more. It doesn't have a release date or anything, so it's still to be announced. After that, we got the Life is Strange highlight, yay! Where they announced that they are doing a remastered collection, which includes the original game as well as the prequel Before the Storm. All with up-resed into 4K textures and redone lighting and everything and lip syncing, all that stuff. Which is, cool. Hey. It's due out on September 30th. Yeah. And then they showed off more of the next game, Life is Strange True Colors, where you get to invoke some of that aura power. Chicky, the aura power.
I didn't really care about the Life is Strange, what they showcased.
Yeah, it's one of those games where it's not everybody's taste, but that's coming December 10th, so 20 days before the remastered collection.
It's coming on all platforms except for the Amazon Luna. And when I say all platforms, I mean the Switch is also getting it.
Yeah, Switch
that and True Colors.
Yeah, Switch and Stadia. So, make of that what you will. And then we get what seems to be, this one seems to be fairly divisive. Either people think, oh, that looks kind of cool, or people are like, ugh, it's cringy edgelord bullshit, man. Stranger of Paradise. Chaos. Stranger of Paradise.
What I was referencing earlier about, man, I'm just right here.
Probably my favorite thing I've seen somebody say about this is that it's a 2000s emo edgelords kids
It's
remake
very-
of FF1.
The art direction. I don't know about you, Kyle, but the art direction to me feels like it was aimed or made with like early PS3 era in mind, like 2006. And I'm like,
Yeah, I mean,
understand.
yeah, I mean, just looking at it, it does look that way. It does look like a PS3 game, in hindsight, with what they're going for in terms of like the visuals and like the models and all that. But
Charles said, yeah, the direction seems goofy.
yeah, but I will say I have played the demo that they announced at the end of the trailer, and honestly, I didn't think it was all that bad. You know, just from playing the demo. And I mean, sure, the premise of what they're going for seems kind of weird, but at the same time, unless if you were keeping up to date with like news websites like Siliconera and all that, we did get a bit more information about, you know, why what we've seen in the trailer is showcased as is, especially with why like the main character actually looks like he doesn't belong to the world of the original Final Fantasy 1, which honestly is what it is. So basically Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin is another isekai type of experience, which, you know, some people are really down about, but at the same time I'm like, you know, Square Enix is not really that is not really a stranger to that concept, because they actually have done that for some of their other games like Final Fantasy Tactics Advance and A2, and even Final Fantasy X, if you even want to go that far, where basically a character will start off in his or her own world, and then they get transported into another world, basically. So that's what Stranger of Paradise is going for. But yeah, I mean, from a lot of what I've seen, for those who are live streaming their reactions toward that game announcement, a lot of them I saw were actually pretty excited, where there's like about maybe a few people who showcased their discontent with what they showcased, which Dreamcast guy is actually one of those.
Hated it. A lot of people straight up hated it. They were just like, man, it's goofy.
Mm-hmm. I mean, but you can obviously tell that what they're doing with the game, they're basically trying to take a piece of the pie from the Souls series, you know, from Software's Souls games.
Darkchild will remember, because I was talking to him about it yesterday. How I was like, it's like, I was like, it plays okay, but it doesn't. But it's like, I don't know what they're trying to do here.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, with the trailer, they do have a survey that you can actually have access to once as you play the trailer, and that way you can actually tell both Square Enix and Team Ninja what direction they should take in, or what improvements they should make before they actually release the game. And, you know, I actually really like how developers are doing that, so that way they can actually have a better sense of direction with how, with how they are, should make the final product look like. I mean, they've done that with Octopath Traveler, the upcoming Project Triangle Strategy, and even Bravely Default 2. All those games for the Switch, they actually did those those playable demos you can try out, and then they have those surveys that you can take. I actually thought it was pretty cool. But it seems like everybody just doesn't even want to do that, as they just want to keep shitting on the concept, and with them blaming Nomura for how this game looks. And it's like, he just only came up with the concept for it, right? He doesn't really have that much of a hearsay with trying to, develop the entire game, as he's just pretty much the creative producer, the guy who came up with the concept, and is just the character designer. And even though the character designs look crap, I would just say just wait and see until we actually see more footage and what else that they showcase for it. I would just say, just wait, basically. I mean, just they showcased what they showed doesn't mean it's going to represent the final product. Even it said in the trailer that, what was shown is not final, is subject to change.
Oh God, Star Shot is so funny. They'll make a HD remake of the Bouncer at this rate. That'd be funny.
Yeah.
If they remade Bouncer.
Yeah, it's just everybody was like, was like, where's Final Fantasy Remake Part 2 or where's Final Fantasy 16? Final Fantasy 16, I understand, but Final Fantasy 7 Remake, they just came out with Intergrade, and they haven't even officially, they just now officially got started with putting in their full attention on the second part of the remake.
It's true, yeah, so don't expect to see anything till like next year, probably, so.
Yes, exactly.
But, you know, some people are ravenous, you know, they call Fallon, oh, no 7 Remake Part 2, no Kingdom Hearts 4, you know, all that great stuff.
It's, you know, and I want to quote Kevin Hart on this, but when did we get to this point in life where everything has to be perfect? Whether it just be movies, games, TV shows, when did we come to this point where everything has to be like Academy Award winning material?
Mm-hmm.
It's like they can't always meet your expectations, so it's just you're going to have to suck it up and wait, because game development takes a lot longer than you think it does.
It does, yeah. It really does.
Because otherwise, if you want them to get, if you want them to bring about what you want, then you're at the risk of it being exactly what you want it to be, or basically it just ends up as a stripped down game with less features and stuff. So that's the impression I got with those who are just, shitting on Square Enix in general, especially when it comes to Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin. But overall, Square Enix, I think they were about in the same boat as Ubisoft. They had some unique surprises, but also had a lot of crap that was thrown in between. But didn't think it was all that awful. But hey, it was cool that voice actor Matthew Mercer actually did the narration for the event.
He did, yeah. But sadly, no Resident Evil games crossing over with Final Fantasy were announced.
Yeah.
And speaking of,
so next up was the PC showcase. This one I didn't really watch.
Yeah, I didn't really watch any of the other showcases.
I don't think any of us did.
Between that and Capcom, yeah, I didn't really watch any of them. So
yeah, and from what I'm thinking, there wasn't anything that was Mech Warrior.
Yeah, Mech Warrior 5 was the only thing that was, that what they showcased that just really, caught my eye. That and Jurassic World Evolution 2 and EVE Online Academy. But other than that, everything else, it was just like, eh?
Yeah. And then
it's good to know that. It's good to know that that they have plenty of PC games coming in the future. What they showcased, but anyways.
Yeah, then they have future games show. And
that one I didn't see either.
Sonic Colors Ultimate apparently is part of this.
Yes, it is. And Sonic Colors Ultimate, I am planning on getting this September.
And Eldest Souls, which I've seen the trailer for. Eldest Souls, which is just trying to get people to get it from Elder Scrolls and Dark Souls and be like, let's just combine these two names and see if people and by the way, the trailer had no gameplay. It was just concept art, like a bunch of 2D concept art just thrown about.
Probably the only thing,
because it's coming out next month.
Yes.
And yet they had nothing to show, which is kind of a red flag.
Yeah. Aside from Sonic Colors, the only other game that really stood out to me from Future Game Show on this list is Rune Factory 5.
Oh yeah, Rune Factory. Yeah, those are always cool.
Yeah, that's the Nintendo Switch exclusive that's coming out next year.
Yep.
Rune Factory, if you guys don't know, if you are familiar with a game called Harvest Moon, that's basically a spin-off of that series, where it does have that farm life element to it, but it also has dungeon crawling elements, which, Stardew Valley took inspiration from.
Yep.
And then, last but not least, for part 1 of this list is Mythical Games, and they showcased updates for Blanco's content, whatever the hell that is. Yeah. That's coming for PC.
Yeah. Basically, PC only. Whatever Blancos is.
Yeah. Next
Check-
up
if you
is
check the trailer. Top comment says, "This is a nightmare. Thank you for archiving it." And there you go.
yeah.
Let's go to part two.
Next up, in the indie showcase. Now, this was another I didn't see either, but just from
I'm looking
looking.
at this, I don't see anything. I know. Toy Soldiers.
Yeah,
Spot.
yeah, it's getting an HD version. Toy Soldiers,
Okay. I actually
but
didn't hate that game. Original.
and Freedom Games. Freedom Games was another one that I didn't see either.
Oh
But,
yeah. Hey Lord, Doom, how's it going? And yeah, this year there is no hope. How's it going? That's what he said.
Yeah.
What?
This year's
Came
E3,
at the
there
right
was no
time.
hope.
Now we get to the good stuff anyway, because we just went over like the stuff nobody cares about, except for Microsoft and Square Enix.
And Nintendo.
Well, that's what we're getting.
But before we get to Nintendo, we also got to mention Capcom real quick.
Ah, yes, the great Capcom disappointment.
Yes,
Yeah.
the biggest WTF of E3 2021 aside from just Take-Two, and I think we all agree this was probably the worst showcase because it was basically a lot of nothing new.
Mega Mario, he said Crapcom. Because get
Yep.
this, not only did they have little to show, the little that they did show was shown in other conferences.
Yes. But the only thing new that they showcased from Capcom was like a text splotch for Resident Evil Village saying new DLC coming soon or currently in development. That was it.
Yeah.
Yay!
We're working on DLC, and that's it.
Just trust us. Trust us.
And they even showcased the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. It's like, I really don't need to see anything new because I'm already going to buy that day one.
Yeah.
So yeah, Capcom was definitely Capscom/Crapcom.
Yep.
Crap.
Monster Hunter stories and all that, but again, like we showed it.
We already know about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was Capcom in a nutshell. And also, why did we need to see stuff about esports?
That got, oh my god. Hey, we're gonna show Street Fighter. Okay, it's E3. It's time to announce big stuff. Who's the fifth fighter in your season pass, Capcom? No, we're gonna talk about a tournament circuit. What? And people are like, well, that's for Evo. We don't even know if Evo's gonna show anything. There's nothing that suggests Evo's gonna show anything this year. Other than
Lord Doom.
yeah.
Lord Doom says, Lady D DLC coming to a vendor near you. Oh, Lady Dimitrescu.
But it's true. There's nothing to suggest that there's definitely gonna be some awesome trailers at this year's Evo, which is just gonna be an online event. Like there's usually trailers, but since it's online and COVID and the crap with all the people running it, like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No idea. But then again, Sony bought it. Maybe Sony's gonna be like, hey, here's some. It's a Street Fighter Sony exclusive. Here's your Street Fighter character. That's the only reason I could think of that we'd see that announcement at Evo.
Oh yeah. All right, now it's time to actually talk about some good stuff.
Lord Doom said, like I said before, they set up an Among Us area, so I'm going Evo, Kappa.
So we're talking about the other. Now we talk about the other good thing that came out of E3 this year, and that was about Nintendo.
Nintendo didn't have to even go this hard, and they did anyways.
Yes, they did.
That's the crazy part. They didn't even have to.
But the thing
it was such a gimme this year, but they still like, no. We're Nintendo. We'll still give you good stuff.
And they start off strong too, because I think they start off with like the biggest announcement that you actually were marking out, Kaus.
And I'm not even a Smash player like that, but that was really awesome to start off with Kazuya. A lot of people were like, I'd rather see Heihachi out. Kazuya is my favorite character in Tekken, and I'm super hyped. And the fact that he plays and has his Tekken movesets. Wind God Fist. They didn't say anything about electrics, but still, that's crazy. And the show itself was really well done because it had Kazuya dunking on everybody. That was great. So,
Oh yeah, when he's just
though,
throwing him off the cliff.
Kirby
But
always-
Kirby got a pass because Kazuya didn't even know that Kirby could actually fly.
Yeah.
So it's like
That is true.
Kirby's like, "Ha ha, joke's on you, sucker." But yeah, that announcement for Kazuya Mishima for Smash Brothers Ultimate, that was definitely out of left field and was completely unexpected. But we won't know more about like Kazuya's movesets and stuff until June 28th. Yeah, that's when they'll have their next Smash Direct, where they're going to cover his gameplay.
Dr. Rice straight up admitted that they haven't recorded the footage yet. They're like,
Yeah.
Omega Mario said like about me being hyped for Kazuya. He goes, "You were straight up spouting out the move as they showed the move combos they showed up counts." That's right, I did. I was like, "Oh my god,
Yeah,
it's
you were.
that's down forward 2. That's his Wall Rising 3." I was like, "Going."
Hell Sweep, his 10-hit combo. We're getting Tekken Cross Street Fighter.
Forward 2 said everybody's gonna get slipped. Kazuya changing the game.
Oh yeah. But yeah, that they started off strong with that, and we won't know until June 28th till we see the move, everything about Kazuya Mishima for that game, as well as when the release date's going to be. It probably is not going to be long after that, because every time when they have a Smash Direct that covers a character, they're usually released shortly after the presentation or somewhere around there.
They are.
So
yeah.
probably won't be that much longer until we see Kazuya playable. All right, so next up, retreading from Square Enix stuff into the Nintendo presser, or the E3 Direct, the Life is Strange Remastered Collection and True Colors and Guardians of the Galaxy coming to the Nintendo Switch, albeit Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be the cloud version coming to the Switch.
Yay.
Yeah, we already talked, so yeah.
Yeah. Next up, Worms Rumble is getting a Switch release.
Yeah, I would just think the highlight of E3, Worms. Jokes aside, I Worms is actually cool. It's actually a fun game. It's always been. It's like, what, 93, 95? It's been around forever.
Then the next one that they showcased was the indie game Astraea Ascending, which is coming out on all platforms except for Stadia and Amazon Luna. And it's basically that side-scrolling JRPG that's worked on by some ex-Final Fantasy or freelance people who also work on the Final Fantasy series, namely Kazushige Nojima for scenario writing the game, as well as Hitoshi Sakimoto for working on the game's music. So yeah, that's one of those games that I've been having my eye on for quite a while, and it's coming out this September 30th, which I'm actually looking forward to. Whether or not if I get it on the Switch or PS5 or PC, not sure. Next up, 2 Point
Omega
Campus.
Mario said something about Worms. He said he's just glad it's freed from PlayStation only shackles.
Yeah.
Yes, is whoop whoop. 2 Point Campus getting a Switch port along with the other versions that they also announced. 2 Point Campus, that's the one I said looked like it was made by Aardman Animations, the people who made
There was
Wallace and Gromit.
another 2 Point game. That's why.
Yeah, 2 Point Hospital.
2 Point Hospital.
This is their version for managing a university and such. So.
Yeah, so basically they're the people who made like theme park.
They make
essentially.
like management sims. Like that one was for like a hospital, obviously, and this one's going to be for university campus and everything. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's time to get your balls out, boys, and your bananas.
Yes, and your balls out and your monkey on, as we're talking about Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania.
Nagoshi basically went, "You guys want Yakuza on Switch? Nah, here's the Monkey Ball."
Yes, it's basically this game. It's an HD remaster of the first 2 games.
It's got everything. It even has adventure, which is like a story game.
Yeah, because it's 1, 2, Deluxe, and Adventure, I believe. Yes.
It's got
All
everything.
all the monkey balls you
I
could
mean,
ever want.
it's cool to know that a franchise like Monkey Ball is still being made to this day, and even Ryoga Gotoku Studios are still working on it, especially when you have the main creator, Toshihiro Nagoshi, still having a hand in its development, the IP.
Yeah. And speaking of updates and compilations, Mario Party's getting one. Mario Party Superstars. The top boards and mini games from across the series are appearing for everybody to have it on. And the best part, it has online multiplayer.
Yep, just like Super Mario Party had that update for online multiplayer recently. Mario Party Superstars, it's getting it day one.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
And I think you were talking about this when we were streaming back on Tuesday. It's like we all should get that game because we do need to play like a Mario Party game together to where we can basically just ruin our friendship.
Ruin everybody. Yeah, get the three of us and then get like a fourth and then just completely wreck it.
Yes. Or we could just do 3 as well as the AI, but
well, yeah,
you know,
3
that's
an AI. Yeah, there's nothing stopping us from doing that. But
yeah,
still.
we'd be like the Runaway Guys 2.0, you know, or like an offshoot of the Runaway Guys who play every single Mario Party game known to man. And then next up, the big announcement that made me hype and marking out, and that was the announcement of a game which I never thought would actually see the light of day, but it actually has, and it's actually a real thing, and that is Metroid Dread.
It lives.
The fact that they even used that title, that's awesome. Because if you don't know, Metroid Dread was a rumor since like what,
2005 or 2006.
It's a game they've always said, oh yeah, it's in development, but you know, nothing ever came of it. Like literally, like the last time anybody said any official word on it was like 2010, saying, oh yeah, it's still being worked on, and then nothing. Most people assumed it was just canceled, but oh, there you go. It's not,
yeah, and those of you who don't know. Those of you who don't know, Metroid Dread, it is the 5th mainline title in the main continuity of the Metroid series. Yeah, so it takes place after Metroid Fusion.
Yeah, it is the true continuation. Yeah.
Yes. To be honest, I'm like some people where I'm actually more hyped for this than Prime 4 just because it actually is a true sequel continuing the story.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And the thing about Metroid Dread, I mean, aside from what they showcased with the gameplay, as well as some of the new power-ups that you can get that you haven't seen from other Metroid games, is that it looks like it's pretty much done and it's ready to launch. And it is ready to launch by October 8th. Mm-hmm. But probably the big thing that has been heating up a lot of debate from online is its $60 price point. There's a lot who say that it is worth it because, you know, it's going to be a fully packaged game, while others are saying that it's not worth it because of it retaining its roots as, you know, basically the whole, you know, adventure platforming elements, basically the Metroidvania stylized gameplay that they have done for ever since the series conception. But, you know, I'd say it's probably worth it because it's as long as you have a lot of content going for it, aside from what they can do with what the game can do with the 2-pack amiibo, especially with one of them giving you a free E-tank as well as a free upgrade of 10 missiles. I'd say from what they showcased, that it looks like it is going to be worth the $60 price point. As well, because I remember it took me about 9 to 10 hours to beat Metroid Samus Returns, because in case you guys don't know, Metroid Dread is actually being developed by Mercury Steam, and they are the people who worked on Metroid Samus Returns on the 3DS.
Omega Mario and Lord Doom were saying some things, and Lord Doom mentioned about us talking about, and thanks, motorcycle! Get out of here! Lord Doom mentioned about Mario Party. He said, you know, about not being friends. He could go to the store and be just like, I'd like to no longer have friends. Can you sell me Mario Party? And Omega Mario
Star Child says,
maybe we're getting a Metroid in 4 months from now.
I know. Star Child says, I think if people pay that much for the game and beat it in 2 hours, they will probably be they will probably be pretty mad. Well, that's the thing. I mean, with Metroid Samus Returns, and I think what they're going for with Metroid Dread, I don't think it's gonna be a 2-hour game. If you can have more, if there's a lot of content that you can get in there for, if you wanted to speed run through the game like in 5 hours tops, or is like the fastest you could probably speed run that entire game, I'd say it's worth the $60 price point. At least that's my opinion, but to each his own, I guess, with however they decide. But yeah, Metroid Dread coming out October 8th, and that's definitely a day one buy for me. But although I do want to get the special edition, but it's been hard for me because of the damn scalpers online.
Yeah, scalpy.
That and the 2-pack amiibo.
Yeah.
So it's basically another NVIDIA graphics card situation, but with the special edition and the 2-pack amiibo for Metroid Dread. It's like, screw you, scalpers!
Yeah. But hey.
Anyways.
You know what else we're getting? A new cruising game.
Yes. Cruising Blast.
That's where I come in.
Yeah.
It's an arcade. It's a part of the arcade game of the same name that was put out by Raw Thrills, even though Nintendo did publish the arcade game. But yes, Cruis'n Blast.
I am hyped for this because I haven't played a cruising game since ever, and I grew up playing cruising games, all of them, in the arcade.
Mm-hmm.
That was like one of the few games that you could always count on there being in an arcade back in the day.
Oh yeah.
And I'm arcade port, get a console port. Well, this arcade.
And the thing about Cruis'n Blast is that one of the vehicles you can drive is an actual unicorn.
Yes. For no reason. I love it. That's cruising for you. Cruising's always wacky.
I mean, there's no reason that they gave that to you, but hey, it's actually cool that you can actually do that.
Yeah.
So that's coming out sometime this year. They haven't even mentioned what exact release date is for it, but they do mention that it is coming out this year sometime. So that's pretty cool. Next up, we're getting a Nintendo Switch port for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
Yes.
Yeah, complete with the 2 DLCs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Metal said exactly why I'm actually excited for that, because it actually comes with a DLC. I bought the PS4 version. It doesn't have that. And people are like, well, this game. I'm like, hey, well, for somebody who wants to play it on Switch and not have to pay for the DLC, that's actually pretty cool.
It is, yeah.
And I know some people are like, how could a game like this, especially like Dragon Ball FighterZ, come to the Nintendo Switch when it's, the console is inferior in terms of the technology? Well, I have one answer to that. Unreal Engine 4. Nintendo Switch supports Unreal Engine 4, so that's why it was possible to get a game like that and, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot to come onto the Switch.
Yep.
But hey, it's cool. That's coming out on the Switch finally. Comes out October 24th for that platform. Mario Golf Super Rush was next, and didn't really show a whole lot of that since, that is coming out next
Friday.
Yeah, this Friday. Yeah, this Friday. So it's a good thing that they didn't spend a whole lot of time with it. They showcased Monster Hunter Stories 2 again, which honestly is another retread.
Whatever.
New game that they showcased from the WarioWare series. WarioWare Get It Together.
Get it together. Ah.
So basically, the premise of the game is that Wario has started his own game development crew, and basically they created a bunch of mini games for us to play. Just the whole premise of the whole WarioWare shtick that the gameplay that it goes for.
It's a little different because it's character based. Because you play various games, and depending on which character you pick, they'll have different abilities that will help or hinder your ability to do the micro games, which is definitely a new take.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention,
it definitely does look cool, and it's awesome that it's coming out this September 10th too.
Wow.
They showcased a new trailer for Shin Megami Tensei 5.
Finally coming out.
This November 12th. And who would have thought that they finally got a release date for it?
This game got announced when the Switch got announced.
Yes, or when they had that presentation in January 2017, they announced that game. But yeah, finally a release date for it too. And I think it's the first game, Shin Megami Tensei game, that's being developed with Unreal Engine 4 in mind.
Yep.
Now, Shin Megami Tensei, basically, it's you play as a human character, but you can have like the monsters of that universe. You can capture them and basically team up with you to fight in battles.
Shin Megami, you recruit them and then you confuse them.
Yes.
Which is also, that's part of Persona. Where do you think Persona got it from?
And where do you think Dragon Quest V got the gameplay from? Is basically classic Megami Tensei gameplay. Okay, next up was Danganronpa Decadence. Basically, it's a compilation of the first 3 games as well as one of the other games that came out for it. It's not Trigger Happy Havoc.
Yeah, it's pretty cool they're doing this because people have been wanting this forever. They finally get it, and it isn't just like 1 or 2 like separate, although digitally it is. But physically, it's all of them together. Boom, right there. You got all Danganronpas. And I hear they're pretty cool. I never got to try them.
Yeah.
Even though it's on Vita, and I had a Vita.
Yeah, Danganronpa is basically like the gameplay you would expect from the Ace Attorney series, but but it gives you a bit more freedom to move around.
Yeah.
And basically, if you found the culprit of who killed who killed the victim, then they are the ones who pretty much get the death penalty.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I mean, hey, it's got itself a huge cult following for what it is. But I mean, people love it and they're excited that this is coming to the Switch finally. But happy for them.
I should finally try it. Maybe I'll buy that collection.
Yeah, I do have me the first game on the on Steam. Just not a really big fan of the bear with both a light sided and a dark side. That's half and half because that thing always creeps the crap out of me.
Antagonist, and like if I remember right, you can't even fight him. That's why they're doing that. They're like, crap, we gotta just listen to this weird sick freak thing.
Yeah. Next up, we're finally getting an HD remaster port of Fatal Frame: Maiden of Blackwater.
Yes! This one is one people really been wanting forever.
It is.
But here's the kicker, though. It's not only just coming out on the Nintendo Switch, but it's also coming out on all current gen systems.
Yes. That part they didn't mention. I didn't even know.
Lord Doom says you can't fight the bear because he's OP. Yeah, he's practically God.
Basically, yeah. We got
Fatal Frame: Maiden of Blackwater.
That's the Wii U game that.
But which we only got digital version for the Wii U. But the thing is that with that game, it was basically like. It was like a free-to-play version where you only got to play the first chapter for free, but then you had to like pay for the separate chapters or pay like full price for the whole game.
They flubbed the crap out of that game on Wii U. So this Switch port is nice to play it all together and with better performance.
And I really hope that they do bring back, Ayane from Dead or Alive being playable in Maiden of Blackwater, because they did have that separate mode where you can actually play as her in the game.
That'd be interesting.
Next up, they showcased, this is one thing which I felt that was kind of unnecessary to showcase during the presser, was Doom Eternal, The Ancient Gods Part 1, the DLC for Doom Eternal finally hitting the Switch. The Ancient Gods, the first part.
It really was. We knew, yeah.
Never.
Yeah. I'm surprised it runs on Switch.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, better late than never.
Next up, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 finally got a release date for its Switch release.
That's cool.
It is.
I actually like that game. Oh, and if
And
Omega Prime chat, yeah, didn't you 100% it? Looking forward to 100%ing it again?
Yeah.
If you
And
haven't,
it's out now. Ba-da-da-da-da.
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I may have
Came
to get
out
rid of
this
my
week.
I may have to get rid of my PS4 version because when I thought I could upgrade to the PS5 version, you can't do it through the disc. You have to do it through digital download only, and that is a lot of bullshit.
Oh, Guilty Gear does it through the disc.
Yeah, and so does Final Fantasy VII Remake. Does it through the disc. That and Final Fantasy 14 Online, you can upgrade to the PS5 version from the PS4 version for free. It's just weird. But anyways, next up, Strange Brigade. This one I'm a little bit in the dark on. I need to take a look real quick. Strange Brigade. It's a Western style game. But Strange Brigade. It's set in Egypt in the 1930s, and basically it's that team based.
Like third person puzzle shooter.
Team based third person it's basically kind of like Left 4 Dead, but instead of zombies, it's a bunch of like ancient Egyptian monsters or demons that you're going up against. But it has some puzzle solving elements, which I guess is pretty cool. But hey, it's just not my cup of tea. Next up, they retreaded ground with Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, which we already touched base on.
Yeah.
But the next game really blew our good friend, the Bad Gamer, out of the water because he was really excited when they made this announcement. Advance Wars is coming back.
Woo!
Yeah, 1 and 2. Because people were just thinking if they were going to do it, it was just going to be 1. But nope.
Nope, 1 and 2, all the campaigns, all the units, redrawn in glorious HD.
But here's the big surprise, though, if that's what you're going to mention, Metal.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But yeah, this is the big surprise. The developer of this remake of 1 and 2 is not done by Nintendo themselves. It's done by our good friends over at WayForward Technologies.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, the people who made Shantae and are putting out River City Girls 2 and River City Girls 0. Looking forward to those games, by the way. They're the people who are actually developing Advance Wars 1 plus 2 Reboot Camp, as they're calling it. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd say that's pretty awesome.
It is, honestly. It's sweet. And I really look forward to it. I love playing the Advance Wars trilogy, so... Well, not trilogy.
Yes.
Well, series, I should say, because it wasn't really a trilogy, but you know what I mean.
Well, They might as well should have had a trilogy in the end.
Because, okay, technically, yeah,
Well,
there was...
maybe if this does well enough.
Well, there was 1, 2, there was Dual Strike, then there was the grim post-apocalyptic, spin-off, Days of Ruin.
Mm-hmm.
There's also Battalion Wars, which was a third-person, action action shooter thingy, so...
Uh-huh. Okay, and that's coming out this December 3rd as
Lord
well.
Duke said River City Girls was amazing, and I still need to play that game myself.
Yeah, I still have it on my Switch, and yeah, it is really great, Kaus. When the summer sale comes about, on Steam, or if you need to get it through PlayStation or Nintendo Switch, definitely pick it up when it goes on sale. It is worth every penny. Okay, and lastly, we finally get on to some Zelda 35th Anniversary content.
Yeah!
First thing they showcased was an upcoming update for Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity, which they showcased a bit of the first DLC pack called Pulse of the Ancients. And I guess this one also shows that Link has a new weapon where basically it looks like a Devil May Cry type of weapon.
It looks like Dante's little nunchuck triple section staff deal he had.
Yeah, the Cerberus rods.
Yeah, the Cerberus, yeah. Where it had the ice, the lightning, and the fire, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, that's basically the impression I'm getting with that weapon. But yeah, and they're also bringing back the motorcycle that was in the update for Breath of the Wild. But they showed Zelda coming in, riding in on it, which I thought was pretty funny.
Nice.
Lord Doom
And
said
then they-
Cerberus, well, King Cerberus in 5. Yeah, he was the king.
Mm-hmm. And then they said that the second DLC pack, which is called Guardian of Remembrance, is still coming out this November. But that was all in terms of Hyrule Warriors. And the next thing Zelda related, they showcased Skyward Sword HD once again. I don't think they showcased a whole lot of new, but with them saying that
this game is ready to come out next month.
This game's only a month away before release. And I know a lot of people are planning on picking that up. Yeah, me included, since I did like Skyward Sword. And hey, that Zelda game's also in 60 frames a second. That game's also in 60 frames a second, kind of like A Link Between Worlds, which makes me happy. But this next announcement really caught me by surprise. Legend of Zelda Game & Watch.
Yes, and unlike the other Game & Watch, this has a lot more going for it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's got the original Legend of Zelda on the NES, and then its sequel, Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link. But there's also a third game, and that is The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, and it's based on the Game Boy Vanilla version. So not the DX version. And also a Game & Watch type of game that involves Link as well. But yeah, has a lot more going for it than the Mario one. So yeah, that was actually pretty awesome to see that. And I definitely got me a pre-order in for that as well, because I want to have that in my collection.
Lord Doom says something I didn't know about Devil May Cry lore. We're talking about the Cerberus nunchuck thing.
Yeah, old Cerberus got destroyed when Dante went to get Balrog, which was in the novels only translated to English on Twitter or something like that. Interesting.
Huh.
And then last but not least, they showcased the big thing that everybody wanted to know more about, and that is the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yes, they showed something cool here. It's got a lot more going for it. It's definitely not just a rehash.
Yeah, it's just not a rehash where you play in the land of Hyrule like you could in the previous game, but you can also go into islands within the sky. So this is where people are thinking that Skyloft from Skyward Sword is coming back somewhat. Or, basically the ruins of basically the ruins of Skyloft, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. But anyway, what were you saying, Kaus?
The fact that he didn't just float or fly, but you saw at the very end, he was warping through floors, and I'm like, what's going on there? Is he phasing? Or does he have a phase ability, or is this time travel? We'll see. But yeah.
But the only downside is that, the good thing about it is that it's coming out next year, but the only downside is that they still have not even mentioned the official name of the game yet.
Oh yeah, they're just calling it Breath of the Wild 2, but that's not, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a placeholder.
And what Bill Trennan said in an interview after that trailer was shown is that if we revealed the name, then it would be a spoiler based on what you all saw from the trailer.
Interesting.
I would just call it not Breath of the Wild, but Breath of the Air. Or Breath of the Sky.
Oh, there you go. That might be what they call it. Who knows?
Could be. But yeah, other than that was all with what Nintendo showcased.
Yep,
and then
it was pretty decent. Nintendo
yes, it was.
Got us hype, gave us old school E3 hype, unlike the other conferences, which, again, Microsoft was actually okay though. Actually, pretty decent too. But yeah.
And then the last thing they showcased was the Bandai Namco thing, but again, it was just only covering one game, House of Ashes, from the Dark Pictures anthology. So we don't really need to talk about that.
Nope.
But other than that, that was it for what was shown at E3, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, this E3 was pretty much what I said it was gonna be. Except for Nintendo, like they knocked it out of the park, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, they didn't even have to. They really didn't have to. They did it.
Yeah, they didn't have to, but they did anyways. But hey,
motorcycles out there, yeah.
But hey, E3 was a disappointment, but there was some sprinkles of good that was added into it. But most of the good didn't come. But most of the good came from two pressers only, and that was both Xbox and Bethesda, as well as Nintendo. But although there were some sprinkle surprises that were shown here and there from other pressers, but overall, E3 was pretty boring and pretty disappointing.
Yep.
Let's just hope that next year that it's a much bigger improvement. And I think everybody will be a lot more prepared for next year.
Yeah. Vaccinations are happening. Stuff is getting a little more...
Yeah, the pandemic is dying down. So everybody should be getting back on track with just,
Yeah.
But other than that, I think that'll cover our stuff with E3 2021.
Pretty much. Like, hey, it wasn't... I expected nothing. I got some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what Hero Club said is true. I mean, that's pretty much what I did say at the beginning. Will said, I'm not going to say that Cow said told you so, but he did tell you.
Yes.
Like
Thanks, buddy.
I did. I was like, yeah, this ain't gonna be much happening. But Nintendo, I'm glad I saw Nintendo. But yeah. How about you guys in the chat? You guys have any final thoughts? Because I think we already said like we talked to death already on ours. I mean,
yeah. Lord Doom says, "I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed."
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much his. That sums us up to the T. And Hero Wheel says, "Get the neck stretcher."
Oh yes, what I said about the Game Awards.
Oh God!
Yep.
Oh, I'm getting flashbacks from the Game Awards last year.
Oh Lord!
Don't even upload this and delete the VOD.
delete.
But other than that, I think it's time for us to plug while everybody delivers their thoughts in the chat if they decide to.
I hope to see that, but yeah. So who went first last time?
I think it was Metal who went first, so it's my turn.
Me. Yeah.
So yeah, it's your turn. Yep.
Yes. Okay, guys, you can find me at youtube.com/RPGreviews. That's where I work on my created content. I want to try to get back on track with the Final Fantasy retrospective at some point. Just don't know when. It's been hard for me to try to get back on track because of the new puppy that I had to take care of, or that I'm currently taking care of, but hopefully it won't be that much longer, but who knows. But in the meantime, you can follow me through social media at facebook.com/RPGreviews and twitter.com/RPGreviews. I also have a page here on Twitch, which is twitch.tv/RPGreviews. That's where I hosted my live streams on the E3 pressers that I covered throughout this whole week, or the first half of this week. So yeah, follow me there if you haven't. And if you want to see the archives of my live streams from Twitch onto YouTube, then follow me at youtube.com/RPGgamer for solo. All right, let's go, Metal.
Let's go. All right, follow me on Twitter at MasterBlueEye0, YouTube Master with Blue of Eyes. Check it out. Yu-Gi-Oh channel, all that great stuff. And don't forget to check out hero-club.com for all your hero news, and follow them across social media at Hero Club for Life. Since we have a little show on Wednesdays on Twitch, twitch.tv/Hero Club for Life. where we talk about mecha, tokusatsu, all that great stuff. Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern. Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern, we usually jump on and play something. We've been recently playing a fan-translated version of Pokemon Card GB2, the sequel to the Pokemon TCG Game Boy game that we never got. So come by and check it. Thank you very much.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. Jerry?
Oh, my turn? Okay, yeah. Okay,
Yep.
I didn't realize you. I forgot you already. Yeah. So you can follow me on Twitch. Twitch.tv/FighterCouse. That's Twitch.tv/F. It's right there. It's right there at the top of the screen. FighterCouse. Right there. The blue TGF logo right there. That's my name everywhere. Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Follow me there. I actually brought back my webcomics, so check out my Twitter for that. I'm literally uploading them right now to schedule them. And also I'll be working on videos and stuff again, so check my Twitter for that too, for updates on that. Join our Discord, and as for my Twitch schedule, it's Tuesdays and Fridays at 4 p.m. Eastern. Tuesdays is Tekken, Fridays is a different game. That's it for me.
All right. Well, we hope you enjoyed this, and be sure to stay tuned for next Saturday when we return back to Mega Man Battle Network for our 3rd episode. So that ought to be a lot of fun, and we'll see you. We'll see you then. So until then, this is Double RPG.
Visible Ninja.
I'm FighterCouse.
All right, and Fighter Cows, your 2 special word, please. So take it away.
Kanyo.
Peace out, everybody, and have a good night. Bye-bye.
See ya.